Hi, welcome to Astrology for Gann Traders. My name's Olga Morales. This is just another short presentation looking at some Gann cycles. I've called it Looking Back with W.D.Gann, and it's looking at some long-term cycles in some of his works and writings. So let's get started. This is a quote. The culmination of the bull market in September 1929 was really the result of a long-term business cycle which began in August 1896 and continued for 33 years, with each campaign in the market making higher prices, which showed that the long-term trend was up. Now, he also, in his stock market courses, he talks about a sharp bottom of August 1896, where the low was $42, up until the final top of September 3, 1929. Now, 1896 to 1929 is actually 33 years. So this is the actual sharp bottom of August 8, 1896, and you can see all the squares and oppositions in this. So here we have the classic circle, square within a circle, the basis of Gann's emblem. Now, when this happens, when planets form such alignments, the energy is very difficult. Just think of the box. It's contained. It can't express itself, especially the fixed quality, which adds more constriction to the natural flow of energy. Now, the four fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Now, they're referred to as the four beasts in the Bible. As a midday chart, you can see I've cast this for midday. When you have a midday chart, you know that the sun's got to be up here conjunct the midheaven. You can see the dominance of fixed. See the rating here, we've got a lot of fixed and also fire. So here we have looking at these modes and elements, you get a signature grid. And that gives you the overall theme or energy theme for the chart. And so you can see the fire brings in heat and destruction as well. So let's have a look at now the actual final top of September 3rd. In comparison, you can see that there are more sextiles and trines in this chart. And also the overall balance is more of a balance in the modes and qualities. So there's nothing actually sticking out more dominant than others and other elements lacking. So these simple techniques, which I do teach in my courses, and especially when you're doing personality analysis, that you need, it's sort of the basis of understanding what the person is like. You know, if someone has dominant water, obviously they're going to be working with their emotional body, and everything they do is through their emotions. So it's really a great starting point when analysing, and the same can be applied to the markets. Now, if you notice in this high, we have Jupiter is actually sextile Uranus. Now, they'll be important as we continue. And take a note of Saturn. Saturn was at 23, Sagittarius 55, so it's almost 24 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, Gann also mentions the end of the bear market, which was July 8, 1932, and that from 1896 to 1932 is 36 years, and that takes us to page 300 of Tunnel Through the Air, where he talks about Edna says to him, Mr. Gordon, did you know that the market is following the forecast you mapped out in 1927? Edna asked if he thought that there was any hope of the terrible war was ending soon. No, he replied. It will get worse in 1931 when many nations will join against us. The end will not come until the summer or fall of 1932. So here it is. What is fascinating about this low was that on that day before was the exact trine of Jupiter and Uranus, the day the upward trend began in both. They were both in fire signs. So you can see Jupiter's at 23 Leo and Uranus is at 23 Aries. So they're both fire signs and they're trine. Okay, so just remember that, because we're going to be looking at something else now. Now, looking forward, like we're going backwards, now we're looking forward to some 55 years later, to the day after the crash of 1987. What can you see that's similar in here? Okay, so you can see Jupiter has come back to 24 Aries, which is a fire sign, okay, and Uranus is at 23 Sagittarius, and Saturn's also in the picture at this time. So there again, once again, Jupiter, Uranus, a trine. Okay, and what we have is an exact degree. We're getting between 23 to 24 of a fire sign. So if you remember, the high in 1929, Saturn was at 23 Sagittarius. Then at the low, transiting Jupiter was at 23 Leo, trine transiting Uranus at 23 Aries, forming a grand trine with the natal Saturn in 1929. Now in 1987, we find that these three planets are at these sensitive degrees in a fire sign. So let's have a look. I've put them all together. This is a quad wheel to have a look at the full dates, and basically you can see how Saturn at the high was at 23 again, Sag, and then Jupiter was 23 Leo, trine Uranus in Aries, and then for that final, after the crash in 1987, Jupiter's at 24 Aries and Uranus is at 24 Sagittarius. So this is how we find these are longer term cycles. This sort of analysis can be applied to any time frame, but what we're doing here is we're trying to get these sensitive degrees and these planetary formations to help us predict what can happen in the future, especially for timing. So just to finish this off, this is a quote from Luther Jensen from Astro Cycles and Speculative Markets, page 36. Since 1896, Uranus and Jupiter have been in a favourable aspect 28 times. In every case, these aspects coincided with gains in business activity. The July 8th depression low coincided with their exact trine of these two planets on the 9th of July 1932, the day the upward thrust began. A synthesis of the relationship by aspect and sign, position of Jupiter, Saturn and Uranus, plus the sunspot cycle, is the framework upon which to project the primary trends of business and the market. So hope you've enjoyed that little presentation. I'm trying to fit it into that 2 minutes that I get on YouTube, and thank you.